Good morning. Hello
Good morning.
and welcome. How is everybody doing this morning? I hope you're doing well. Pop, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Good. We got some people in the chat already. That's fantastic. Always love to see the people in the chat. Good morning, Cliff. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Cliff.
Morning, Jacob. How are you? We're doing well. Triple D. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Mom. Love you.
Good morning.
Right. Well, you got all the kits out. That's good.
All the kits are shipped. Everybody should have one. Ray Murphy, I sent him one to Ireland.
Excellent. International now.
Yeah, international. We got one, at least one that wants somebody that wants the full paint version.
Cool.
So I know on your show the other night you were talking about that, and that's the you got two things going there. If right now for a little bit here, the kits are $90 shipped. But if you want them painted up, Mikey or I will paint them up for you, and that is going to be $200. That's going to get you a fully painted kit on a black Destro. Or if you have something you want to do on the Pimp Daddy Destro, we can do that too. But for $200, we're not going to worry about joint prep and painting bodies. Everything here is supposed to be for a one that is set up in this color. So we could technically do a barbecue body. You just wouldn't able to use the gauntlets.
Right. So, or the armbands either. You wouldn't be able to use.
Or the armbands. The whole arm thing would be gone. So just keep that in mind if you do want to do one that way. There are, like I said, there are things that we're trying to do to keep this as economical as possible. But that's where we're at with it. Also, I gotta say, my face is very red this morning. A couple of weeks ago, I was showing you guys I had those burns on my arm. Well, it turns out it wasn't burns. I got burned about 16 years ago, 15, 16 years ago. I got resin and alcohol mixed up and used it on my arms, and it created second-degree chemical burns on my arms. That's what, it changed the hair back here to white. That's why it's white. It took enough of the layers of skin off that it never regained its color. So when this happened, I just assumed that it was a burn and it was a spot on my wrist. You can see it's much different than it was a few weeks ago. It was just a spot on my wrist, and I thought it was just from maybe having a little resin on my thumb when I pulled off my glove. And so when I didn't think much of it. It was just right here when I showed you guys. It was starting to heal up, and it looked pretty good. But a couple of other things in my personal environment changed. There's a fabric softener that I cannot use. It's so weird. But I believe that there were a couple of different things, mold in the air, tree pollen or whatever, just a bunch of things. And what I learned Thursday night was that it was not a burn. It was an allergic reaction. That was so I had been treating it as a burn, but it started going up my arm. See there, and literally where my shirt doesn't touch,
Jesus,
broke out. So my face, my neck. So the shirt was protecting me. And over the week, I had purchased an exhaust fan for the room, installed it. I bought an air purifier for when it first comes into the room to pull through the room so that air was clean. So the room itself has a really, really well ventilated setup, so that is what we are. That is what I learned that I needed to do. Now this looks really bad, but I am telling you that Friday morning it was crazy. My eyes are still drying out. Like I keep putting different lotions on it to moisturize, and they just keep drying out. But it's healing. Obviously, just like a poison sumac or poison ivy, once it starts drying out, you know that it's going away. My lighting in here makes that look a little more dramatic than it is, but that's what happened. So that was pretty crazy. Good learning experience. Up my PPE for the room. So when I enter the room, I go ahead and put sleeves on, gloves. I tuck the gloves under the sleeves so that when I grab, I can pinch it like this and pull the glove and the sleeve off this way, or just pull the sleeve off and have clean glove to grab. You don't think about it, but if it's on the sleeve and I pull the gloves off, somehow I got to get that sleeve over my hand and not get the contaminant on my hand when I pull it off. So you just have to there's just a real careful way you do it. Started wearing shoes when I go in the room, so my socks, if there's anything on them, they don't. So it's been, but that's part of it. This is what I want to do. So I need to be sure that I protect myself and do everything that I can so I can still make cool stuff and print and all of that. So that
absolutely.
That's why my face looks so crazy. Yeah, Peter, it is pretty crazy. And good morning. So that's kind of what's going on with me after our last time or discussion last time. So now that everyone has kids and we're trying to get some more, we need to sell some more. You guys need to buy more kits.
Buy the kits. Buy the kits.
I have
oh, hello, Tony.
Several of the smoky white kits ready.
Mm-hmm.
So you can obviously you should probably always put some sort of coating or color on this. This is just the color I printed it in. Mikey's going to show you something a little later. What the importance of that is. You can prime if you want to, but going ahead and printing it in this smoky white, that's going to give you a really nice color to paint almost any color you want to paint over. Plus, it's almost identical to the color of the snake armor or the tactical battle platform. It's kind of cool. And the detail on it is really great.
That is a fact.
So you don't see hardly any of the lines in it. That front piece does have a tendency to show some lines. I don't think it's a big deal once you put some color on it, as we're going to show you here in a few minutes. When you get some color on it, it really comes out. It looks cool, and it'll look good if you do any weathering or anything like that. It'll actually give you a bit of a texture to pull across. So that's that. And you want to just talk about the painting there, Mikey?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I have done is I told you guys, so obviously when you're building something like this, thanks, Triple D. Appreciate that.
Excellent.
When you build something like this, it's up to you how you do it. Mikey and I were really adamant when we first started this that we wanted to build something that is easy even for an entry level thing. Even though this kit has a lot of pieces, it's all really just snapped together and inserts, glue if you want to, but most of it is pretty simple. It's not any harder than a model kit, I don't believe.
Especially for you guys that are doing blockies.
Yeah.
It's pretty much on par with that.
Yeah. I mean, most model kits, even snap together model kits, have around 50 to 100 pieces, so it's not that different. So what I did was went to Walmart, got some of this. Everybody loves the paint and primer together. So I got this ultra matte, and it's called Perfect Gray.
Ooh.
I'm gonna tell you, as a GI Joe guy, this is the perfect gray. It's pretty damn good. So here is one just sprayed with the ultra matte Perfect Gray. You can see that the color is very similar to the smoky white. Now, obviously, the problem with anything like this, especially when Rust-Oleum does stuff, they will come up with the perfect color and then discontinue it. So if you're just doing rattle can, grab a can of this. If you're going to try to do gray, you might even try it on some plastic and just see how it matches the like tactical battle platform and stuff. It's pretty handy if you're still doing customs for O-ring stuff. So this is just straight painted. Turn it so you can see how the light hits it different ways here.
That looks really clean.
Do what?
It looks really clean.
It's pretty clean. Now this says ultra matte, but as you see, there's a sheen on it, which doesn't matter to me. I will weather it and then put a dull coat on it anyway. Also, just for a real color pop, they do this satin poppy red. This Rust-Oleum does that. This is the result of that. This is a little shinier. The shine does really kind of show some of the defects in it. But again, it's armor. You're probably going to weather it out a bit anyway. This color really pops. I know Mikey did used a different red orange, a color he's used before with the Montana black paint. He's going to show that in a minute, and that's pretty good. That paint is beautiful. So I also did one with Tamiya olive green, U.S. Air Force olive green.
Nice.
And I'm going to tell you guys, if you use Tamiya paint or you use a can this size, you're really going to need 2 cans to do this kit.
Which sucks.
I only had one, got everything painted except the shoes, and it died. So I'll have to be clever with that. Anyway, but the Tamiya, since it is made for ABS type plastic, is really nice. It's on there really good, nice coverage. Closes out some of the print lines in it. Fills in really nice. Would like to get another can and hit this with another coat.
Yeah.
But I have other plans for this armor that will involve a lot more busy lines and things like that on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not too worried about it. I will find a way to around that. So that is my experimentation with the using just rattle paint, because I told you guys that's what I was going to try to go for. Mikey's also did one with rattle paint, and it is the Montana Black Series paint, which is surprisingly affordable if you can get the color that you want and you're willing to wait about a week to get it. But oh my goodness, this paint is amazing. So
it's nice. If you've seen my Z-Force Vanguard, that uses this paint. It's a really nice paint. It's about $10 a can on Amazon, and the color palette is impressive. This is a color called koi, I believe, like the fish. So this is no prep.
Excuse me.
So it's a real red orange. If you're familiar with like muscle car paint, this is like competition orange on Chevys or Chevy engine blocks. Like it's
I
just
will
got just a
say,
hint of red.
I just saw this last night, and the camera really does make it look orange, very orange.
It's
But in
it's
fact,
a much more red.
it is just a slight shade of yellow than this poppy red. They are very close side by side. You can definitely see the yellow in the orange of that koi, but the poppy red is very, very red. In fact, I would say this is probably the purest red you can get before turning magenta.
Yeah, that looks very red. Cooter's Garage is here. Good morning, sir.
Woody,
good morning, sir. Watch those lines, buddy. Keep them crisp.
Keep them crisp. Spread that out.
It is not the orange that I used on the tumbler. It's the brand. It's the same brand. It's that Montana Black, but on the tumbler I used pure orange, and this is koi. So this is more on the red side. And then I took my Vallejo white primer, which is much more expensive, and primed the legs, which you can see some print lines in this one. Not on the camera, but because the Vallejo primers are very light, unlike the Montana Black, which lays down pretty thick, which is awesome for covering up lines. So I did a primer on both leg pieces, and then after the primer on this one, I hit that koi again, and it's like to hit it a little bit, and it's nice. And again, that's no prep. It's just hitting it with color. This one has a primer under the color, but that's an example of some of the results you can get with no sanding. Just putting them on skewers or, coat hangers, whatever you want to do, and just hitting them with the can. And like I said, that Montana Black is pretty cheap for what it is. So it's good. I highly recommend it. I've used several colors of it. Very impressed with it. I don't know if it's going to be $10 forever, but it is right now. So take advantage of it if you want some interesting colors.
All right. Dave says he loves his Rust-Oleum 2X.
There you go. Find something you like, something you're comfortable with. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
Okay. All right, let's see here. All right. Talk a little bit about the helmet. Cleaning the helmet up.
All right.
I wanted to show you guys, if I can find it here on my desk now. The one that I painted with just one shot of that 1X or 1K. This is what it looks like after 2 weeks of curing.
That's insane.
It has,
and that's all you did. You didn't do any sanding on that one?
Not this one, no.
That's insane.
Yeah. Now I can't really show it here because it's not that detailed, but you can see there's some you can see like where the attachment points were. You can see those in it.
Yeah.
So just a little sanding, you can see that it's completely hard after 2 weeks. Now, if you've got obviously, if you've got a dehydrator or something where you can pull that through faster. So what I would say is, if you were going to do it this way with no prep, then you should probably plan on reading the instructions on the can and going ahead and putting a second coat at least on before you let it dry out completely. All right, so that's what this is probably going to get. I probably will sand this a little bit with some probably 1400 or 2000, and then hit it with another layer on the outside to get rid of these lines. But I'm really happy with this. I actually may not do that. I may just do another one with just a little sanding and go from there.
Yeah, I say do another one. That way you can kind of get a comparison,
see the difference
as you go. Yeah.
When you get them, there's almost, you can kind of feel almost a film on them. That is just how the clear cures. You can, if you're worried about it, you could cure it a little bit more in the sun or whatever, but you don't have to. But what I would recommend is hitting it with at least 1,000 grit. All right. What I did for mine was I showed last time. I showed those pieces I got from Amazon. These little guys, you can get these at 3M makes these also here in the States. You can get the little kit from O'Reilly or somebody like that and get these. Now for the helmet, I cut it like this. And I cut it like this because that is not only the shape of my finger, but also I am going to be cutting inside of a round circle. Now, if I just leave the corners on there, there's a chance those corners will dig into the edges of the circle. So this one has been sanded with 1,000 grit. I would try to wet sand. That first layer, I may use dry sanding just so that I can see where all the imperfections are in the light. But what you want to do when you're doing something like clear or polish of any kind, you want to not cross-contaminate the grits. Okay, so when I sit down to do something like this, I go ahead, I know this is going to sound super anal and ridiculous, but I get how many gets of grit sandpaper or compound I'm going to use, that's how many different colors of rags I get. You can just get these in multi-packs at Walmart for like $7. You get like 10 different colors. For the fine sanding, I use the microfiber cloths, which again, you can get at Harbor Freight pretty cheap. But what I do is each one of those colors is a grit. So while I'm sanding, when I go to wiping it off, I'm not going to contaminate it with the 600 grit I used earlier on all that 1,000 that I just did to polish, because it'll just be scratches everywhere. So you really got to watch that. Also, if you wet sand it, like, you don't have to get anything expensive. I use these and just put water in them. I keep a couple here, and then I make sure I rinse them out really good before I change to a different grit. So really, really keep that in mind, because you'll end up with a scratch that will be extremely frustrating to sand back out. But like I said, wet sanded it, just cut this little guy like this, put this down here, and just went around like this. Just did that. I cut this at a little angle so the sponge would help alleviate any issues. But now then, the nice thing about what you learn if you've ever done any sort of paint, is you can get a good idea how your surface looks by putting a little water on the surface of what you just sanded. You can see the difference there. The water clears it up, and that gives you a pretty good idea if you've got a nice even sand. And when you look at it in the light, you can really get a good look if there's another scratch in there you missed, especially when you're dealing with a clear part. So again, just remember when you're doing that, do not cross-contaminate. I'm going to do a couple that I polish all the way up to 2,000 or 3,000, and then just kind of buff them out. But I did get I was at Harbor Freight the other day, and I did find these. There's like $3.
Yeah.
Now these are cloth, which is really what you want. If you're working with true ABS plastic, you can pull some real trickery with those little plastic bristled ones that you get in Dremel kits. So those aren't total junk if you're actually doing stuff on a classic 80s or 90s action figure, that is really handy to polish out a finish that looks good. This will not melt like the ABS will. This does not melt that way. So using a polishing wheel, just go slow, let the grit and the polish do the work. Most of what I do is with this. This is old school Mother's Mag wheel polish. Just remember, when you polish with this, it will pick up all the grit. So again, if you're polishing it over 600 grit, over 1,000 grit, be sure you change that rag out to don't do your 1,000 grit, wash it off, and then come back, put 2,000 on it, and then use the grit that you used on the 1,000 grit earlier, because all the pieces that you cut off of that 1,000 grit cut will be in that rag. So just be sure you either wash your rag, or just be sure you just don't make that mistake, because it is super frustrating. It seems like I'm doing extra, but it's all just so that I don't have to go back and do something again.
Andrew, what's up, sir? He said the helmet looks good. Looks like real glass. It does look really nice. And for no prep, that's a hell of a thing there.
It's a cool trick. Again, that was this Duplicolor 1K clear.
Duplicolor 1K clear. Yeah, man. I'll hit it with that shit. No problem.
So that is, and that's even if you do all the work, if you don't want to polish it out, hitting it with a coat of that probably isn't a bad idea, because there is some. This is for automotive, and it does have UV protectorant in it. You can see after 2 weeks, there's no yellowing in it at all, and I can't say that about the polyurethane clear or other lacquers that I have
used. This is Jacob's, and I've been like, while I'm sitting idling, I've just been sanding it, and I did 1,500 and 2,000, and it feels like glass.
Yeah, it's crazy. Just a little prep on that, and they really did turn out good. I'm glad I really focused on making sure that I was building those in a way that we could sand them out easily.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you get it sanded up to 1,000, you could probably even hit it with like Tamiya's clear or transparent blue, transparent smoke, and red, yellow. You could hit it with any one of those transparent colors, and it would look beautiful.
Yeah, I'm rubbing alcohol on it now, and it's like glass.
Yeah, it should be
totally clear.
It's actually one of the more satisfying parts of wet sanding. Like, yeah, look at that.
It keeps drying out, because it's alcohol, but
yeah, that's just from sanding, right?
Yeah, and the same things. I'm using the little foam pieces, about a finger width, 1,500 and 2K.
If you're doing, for the outside of it, you can use the old sanding blocks. This is a 600. Once in a while, you come across 1,000 grit in that, just for the outside. But really, just this stuff right here, just what Mikey just showed, just something like this.
Yeah. And I got a big multi-pack from Amazon, I don't know, 6 months or so ago, that had like 5, 8, 1.5, or 1,500 and 2K. It was like 2 or 3 of each. Nice multi-pack.
Yeah. Multi-packs are cheap, and since when you're doing something like this, or you think you're going to do multiples of something like this, the multi-pack really makes sense, because you're going to use the grits that are in the pack every time you do something. So like the kit that I bought had 400 in it, which I was surprised. And I don't do much with 400 anymore, because it's a pretty aggressive grit if you're doing fine polishes. But I have other uses for 400, especially for prep and stuff like that. So.
Oh yeah.
So it does get used. So that's my update on the helmets. I think I will do another one with, and then do 2 coats on it, maybe one with 3, and just see how they all do in the next few weeks. I'll probably set them in the sun, see if the sun yellows them. Should not, but people say that all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's completely UV safe. So far, the only thing I've ever found that was completely UV safe was glass.
And even that over time looks pretty shitty.
Yeah, sure does. I understand that. I understand that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
We
When
work
when
like
it's mindless, it's pretty meditative. Like it's nice. Like when you're not focused on trying to sand something out of a surface, or trying to do something perfectly so you don't sand off a body line or something like that. When you can just sand and not pay any attention to it, there's something to it.
there is. Same with polishing.
Mm-hmm.
Put a couple coats of lacquer on a model car and just lose yourself in buffing it out. But it's crazy because worked in fiberglass for years, and in the same room, you will cut 36 grit bondo and plywood, carve the crap out of that, and then 2 days later in the same shop, you wet everything down and you're carving all the way up to 1,000 grit to polish the surface. So in that environment, it is extremely important that you keep everything separated by grit as much as you can. Get everybody at the same stage at the same time. So no, probably not. If you are just doing if you're just going to use it like it is, you do want to clear coat it after, do any detail work and all that, and then give it a good clear coat to protect it. But you should not. These parts are very clean. They should be just fine. Just be sure you wipe them down to get any dust or anything off of them before you go.
I don't know what figure you're repainting, but you do probably want a clean surface. You want to wipe it off first.
Yeah, do you primer your PVC stuff? Like when you're doing the figures, do you prime them very often, or you just pretty much hit them with paint?
I don't usually prime figures.
Savage Crucible, okay.
Oh yeah, you should be good, bud. You should be good.
Morning, Patrick. We got to get you some stuff together today, don't we? Speaking of that, I was at Dollar Tree the other day, and I was thinking about doing some photography stuff. I'm not a photographer, but they had this.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Yeah, for $1.25 or whatever. So I got some of that. I thought that'd be cool, putting some weird colors on it and giving it a little background look.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I was looking at something for doing some action figure photography myself. What was this?
You're killing me.
This guy can eat vipers. It's awesome. Thanks, Zach.
This is really cool.
I'd say for Tony's photography, I'm probably gonna have a T-Rex chasing some Joes. That's probably
That's awesome. What's a safe clear to use over Vallejo paint? Haven't been able to find any Vallejo clear.
You probably want in a rattle can, or are you airbrushing? If you're rattle canning, what is the one that I use? A rattle can. I think it was Vallejo, but I got it at the game shop. Shoot. I don't have any up here. I don't remember what the brand is on that. Give me a second. Let me go see if I can get the can.
Okay. All right. So while he's doing that, I showed you this moss stuff because if you customize stuff at all, you know this. That don't ever think you're not gonna find something you can use just at random. They the stuff that Dollar Tree has sometimes seems a little ridiculous, but I have found pretty cool stuff there. You get those little plastic crates that look like clear boxes, stuff like that that you can end up using. It's pretty cool. But I saw the moss and I was like, okay, I think we can do something cool with that. I haven't done a photo shoot thing for a long time, so it would be kind of cool. The last time I bought Vallejo Clear, I did buy it at a Wargamer store. They always have plenty of it. That is expensive, but it really goes well with that paint. And the last time I checked at Amazon, there was availability, but it takes a little while to get to you. It's not part of the Amazon Prime or Next Day or any of that. So just be aware of that. Mikey and I talk about it this all the time, especially with the Montana black paints. You try to plan out a project and buy an extra can or whatever, because when you get down to the deadline or get down to the time you're trying to get it done before you need to move on to another project, you want to be sure that you have enough. And it's always better to have a little extra than to run out. I forgot that when I did the USAF olive green for that Tamiya. I really didn't think about how many parts there are to the kit, but there are a lot of parts to the kit. But what I had planned for the figure, I got that figured out. I'm not worried about it. But yeah, he'll check on that. He's messed with so many other ones that he can do that. Morning, Rowdy.
Morning. All right. So this is pretty readily available, but I wouldn't put it on a figure. This is definitely the go-to, but game store, hobby store, somebody that does miniatures, war paint, or Warhammer, that kind of stuff. But Montana Black also has clears, and they're good.
They were pretty good on the PVC stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is Montana Varnish. Acid-free, UV protection, acrylic based. It's good. I will say I like Vallejo better because it's a fine mist, and I think that's better for a top coat. But this is good, and it's half the price. So, a couple options.
Yeah, the thing to remember on anytime you're doing the PVC plastic, and remember the PVC plastic, I'm using that as a catch-all term for anything that is soft or a little bit rubbery. So most of the Savage Crucible parts are out of that material. Almost everything in Classified, Valaverse stuff, all of those, that material is PVC almost completely. So remember that when you're using something like Duplicolor at best is designed to support ABS, which is the hard plastic. Yeah, you can use it, for a dashboard and stuff like that. They actually have some that's specifically for that, and the reason for that is it's got the flex to move with it. The thing with PVC, if you try to put enamel or lacquer directly on PVC, it will never dry. The way the PVC gases off, it will continue to gas off for the life of the part. So whatever you put on it, you need it to not react with that. And acrylic generally doesn't. And in my own experience, I have found to go one level flatter than what you intend it to look like. Because even the matte, when you spray it with a matte coating, it does gloss a little bit. So really be reticent of that. Try it on a piece, an extra piece or a piece you're not sure you're going to use or you're easily can be cleaned off. Do that, try it out. So
for sure.
Morning.
For sure. What up, TNT?
You came to the right place.
Happy to
If
help.
we don't have the answer, we'll find it. Might even try it out before we tell you.
Yeah, for sure.
If you are an airbrusher, I was telling Mikey, there seems to be a new revolution in acrylics designed specifically for airbrushes, and that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
As long as there's also that new no clean airbrush that uses little needles, little
I've seen
hypodermic.
some that look like almost like marker cartridges.
You can the same gun. You can stick a marker in the top, and it sprays that paint too.
That's pretty badass. I was watching that one yesterday.
There's a couple of
Friday.
Yeah, a couple of videos online. Guy, I watch this Barbados Rex. I watch him all the time, and he's always doing paints and clear coats and all kinds of stuff. He has a really nice setup, and he was actually I've learned a lot of stuff from him. He's really the first person that I saw talk in depth about using food dehydrators to dry your paint out, especially acrylics. But he uses it for everything. He uses it for clear coats. He uses it for lacquer. He's got a nice little spray booth. He reviews those things. He'll review spray booths. Every time like Amazon comes out with a new food dehydrator that's under $70, he'll get one and just try it out and let you know how it works.
That's pretty cool.
If you do decide to use a food dehydrator, I won't make you watch like hours of his show, but always be sure that you get one that vents front to back. A lot of people have the round, cylinder shaped ones. Well, those vent from the bottom, so you're pulling the vent across the other layers. But if you get one with the back, where it pulls the exhaust through the back, that's perfect because that will allow perfect paint flow, almost like a real paint booth where you would spray a car.
Yeah,
it's a pretty good concept. So you can do it that way too. There's just ways to make things happen faster. And a guy like that does tons of paint applications. He doesn't have like any one thing. He'll paint a model car, or he'll paint a 4K Warhammer miniature, or he'll paint a railroad box car. He just uses all kinds of mediums so that you can see how that would affect you. He does a lot of his paint tests on plastic spoons, just so that you can see how that sounds crazy, but a spoon gives you a really good, when you're trying to color map something or look at something, it's much easier to use a spoon than a flat piece of paper or a flat piece of cardboard or whatever, because the spoon will show you the color as the light hits it all the way around it from all different angles, whereas a flat piece is just going to pull direct to the flat area. When we were doing the longbow and trying to match flesh tones, it was very apparent that it is better to put something up against a spoon side by side than it is to try to look at a flat piece of paper and a sculpted part. You just don't see the light the same.
No.
So using spoons is actually a pretty solid way to test paint before you spray a project if you're not sure how it's going to react. Just like Mikey did that primer on that leg. We have extra parts, so it's not a big deal, but if you don't, get you some hard plastic spoons from anybody that sells them.
Yeah,
get a pack of them. And, if you're trying to match a color and you've got, like you get on Montana Black, and maybe you buy a multi-pack or maybe you buy something like that. It's nice to just take a minute, set them all up, and spray each one on a different spoon, so you can see exactly what those colors are going to look on everything that you do.
Yep.
Now, people that paint all kinds of things all the time have hundreds of bottles of paint, and you're not going to spray 100 spoons, but if you know the project, color match is really important. The spoon is a handy tool for that.
For sure. Yeah.
Like I said, especially if you're trying to match something as perfect as you can.
Yeah. Woody, what is this? What is this? What is that? Morning, JB.
Good morning, Justin.
Yeah.
All right. In here to see what else I had to talk about.
Well, on the topic of printing, I just keep looking over and just seeing this crater of heads.
Happy birthday!
Dad printed me out a shitload of heads, and it's just I had Smudge's impact crater right on my desk, and I just started dumping them out there. And turns out, when you're not using the crater, it works really well for a candy bowl or a bowl of heads. So
Bowl of almost 100
if you
heads.
get one of these from Smudge, there is multi-purpose. I don't know if he realizes that, but you can use it for other things too.
You contact him directly, or does he have a way to contact him?
I just message him on Instagram's probably
Okay.
that's the way I see him most active. Yeah, sure. Jason left me this model to fix. She'd broken at the top of the torso from the bottom of the torso. It's like a little hard plastic barbell, and he had turned it, and it broke right off, just sheared it off. So now don't worry about that. That's supposed to come off, but she's got her hula hooping action back. I drilled it out with the hand vise and had a copper rod, and then I just used this stuff, put it on each end of the copper rod, put it together, and she's good to go. She's good to go.
Now again on that DAP stuff, I've talked about that before. Action Joe Figs, welcome.
Good morning.
And
okay. All right. They're trying to send me a code.
The reason that I started using that is I was building this is when Classified first came out. I did a Saw Viper helmet for Raging Spoon, and I built a Saw Viper. And knowing full well the history of the Saw Viper rifle that came with the original Saw Viper, the 3 3/4, what happened there is that was a 2-up that somehow made it into production before it got shrunk down to half scale.
Yeah.
So it actually is 1/12 scale, you know. So I was making a version of that, and I found that super glue really, because super glue when it dries, when cyanacrylate dries, it turns brittle. So if you're gluing something together that's PVC, which works great on ABS, works great on metal, works great on almost anything that is hard. But PVC always has a flex, whether it's a gun. Some guns more than others, depending on what company you're buying them from. The DAP Ultra Glue, I think is what it's called. Rapid
Fuse.
So the Rapid Fuse has an additive in it that lets it be a little more flexible. So it's really great for gluing gun parts together and stuff like that. So it is a really good glue. You can buy it at Walmart, you can buy it at Home Depot, you can buy it at most places. Most even craft stores are carrying it now. But that's why I use it. It is so good for anything with a flex to it. And I just, from my own experience, other people don't have any problem with cyanacrylate. But when I was like things like anytime I'm using a PVC material, like when you glue the Destro boots into the foot, when you do that, you're using a PVC and it's acting with an ABS type plastic. But PVC is in there, so it makes really good sense to use a glue that works with PVC.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why. If you are gluing parts, if you decide you want to glue these pieces into place on your kit, this part is good. It sets in really nice, but you may have issues with it. I have issues with this one because when I did this, I was using a one piece to go across, and that tension is constantly trying to move this thing out of its position. So I will probably end up doing that. They change the packaging like every 6 months on it. It used to be black and blue. I think now it's black and red. But like I say, it's just what I use out of my own experience with classified stuff and working with prototypes, things like that. Like I find that glue, anytime I'm using any sort of soft plastic, that's my go-to. Other than
It's
obviously,
it's really good.
other than obviously you can use a glue gun, but that glue also does not, since it doesn't really mechanically bond very well, and it's also terrible to clean up and control, like a hot glue gun.
Yeah.
Hot glue does. There are sticks out there of material that is much better suited for it, but it's expensive, and it is you still have the mess of trying to control that giant tip on a small part, and you're sitting there waiting for the gun to heat up just to glue two little pieces together.
Yeah.
No problem, man. You should get you one of them and try it on a couple of things, see how it works out for you. I'd love to hear how it works for you. Like I say, I just talk from my own experience. So
yeah, you don't have the control that I can get with super glue. Like it can't be this thin to use these little pipettes. But for soft plastic stuff, it's fucking great. I really like it.
Good. It's pretty good on my tests of just basically cutting rifle pieces apart and making new ones out of an ABS sheet to give it a little bit of old school scratch building, right? Which old school scratch building is all ABS and styrene and all that. Once everybody switched to more ABS stuff, then good old Tester's glue no longer was the right thing to use, because styrene glue literally melts the styrene to create a weld.
Yeah.
With ABS, it will melt, but it does not have the bond that styrene parts have when you use styrene glue. So over the years, everybody has moved. Cyanacrylate has changed a lot over the years. It ended up like in boat manufacturing, cyanacrylate style glue ended up replacing fiberglass sandwich materials when you were putting two pieces together, like the stringer of a hull. The stringer is the structure inside of the hull that holds it from flexing on the bottom. And then you also fill the stringer with foam, flotation foam, so that if the boat gets capsized, it will still float. And we went from having to go in and fiberglass tab all the edges of that stringer down to using a very pasty cyanacrylate that mixes in a tube. You have these two big giant tubes, and you pull the trigger and it goes through a tube that allows it to mix, and by the time it comes out, it's the exact perfect.
Like some of those 2-part epoxies that have the caulking style.
It's like that. The tube is longer. If you've ever worked with an epoxy or anything that has different, like they'll have different, the screw in it that mixes the material, they'll have different ratios. So they'll tighten that screw up or loosen it up, depending on the ratio you need for the activator versus the glue itself.
Morning, Avi. Hopped on and caught a quick glimpse of John's figure. Show that thing. It's not a Mr. Freeze, but you could definitely do that with it.
Yeah, you could build Mr. Freeze with it.
There it is. Little spaceman.
The spaceman. The Astro Suit Mark V.
Mark V.
It's designed specifically to go on a classified destro body. Mm-hmm. So every part is pretty much designed to do that. And we have those kits available. So someone wants to try their hand at it. The DFW, the kit was originally built to be an homage to this figure, and then I just went batshit crazy on it. Which I am building one of these too, so that I have it for that. So I'm building several different colors so that we can get some good material out there for people to see what they can make for basically a 53-part $90 kit.
For the time being. For now.
Yeah.
$90.
Absolutely. This is Patrick. This is the Alpha Star pilot from Fisher Price Adventure People. They used this body a few times for different figures. The regular astronauts were painted kind of a cream and gold. All their gear was gold. There was a male and a female. Same body, just two different heads. Adventure People was very inclusive on their toys. Almost every well-known male figure had a female counterpart. You had firemen, you had firewomen, you had EMTs, and both male and female, park rangers, all kinds of stuff. It's an incredible line. But yeah, so I wanted to do an homage to this figure, but I also wanted to do a really advanced spacesuit. So that's why I did it. Yeah, the space shuttle. The cool thing about one of the cool things about this is this was pre 1980. All right, and the space shuttle had these white, hard, semi-hard plastic tubes, and they have different tips on them, so you would be able to snap this into here, and then it would go from whatever vehicle had a hole in the top, 8mm hole, and it would let them float. This guy came with a little triangular spaceship called the Alpha Star, and it has the ports to do that. The space shuttle had a space shuttle in it that you could pull. It had a miniature shuttle inside, and you could actually pull the jet exhaust off of the shuttle and snap it onto the little thing that snapped on top. It was just, man, their stuff was so cool. Not just the space stuff. They had a rescue vehicle that looked kind of like an ambulance with a ladder on it. You open the side and a stretcher fit inside. And they had a safari set that had like cages on wheels. Pretty cool stuff. So I like hitting an homage to the Adventure People as much as I can. One of the cooler vehicles that is so far out of what anything people make today is they had a TV crew, and a van. And the van has a buildable antenna on it, a buildable platform on top of the van that you could snap together. And it came with like an editorial boss that was kind of a heavy set dude. It came with a 1970s style on the scene reporter. She's got a little little battery box with a microphone, and it came with a cameraman with a camera. Just a really cool set. So yeah, when I was a kid, that was before Star Wars, when I was super into firemen and dinosaurs. Like there was a lot of people that needed rescue, and a lot of people that needed the news reported to them about the dinosaur outbreaks.
Obviously.
But it wasn't just that. They had gliders, they had planes, they had race cars. This just such a incredibly developed line. Hello, Alta Kukovic.
Hi, Moo.
Dave, that's awesome. There's actually a wing pack being developed for this thing, as well as a heavy combat artillery soldier. So it's a pack, all that stuff in the back. The way this was designed, we can just plug these new parts into them. So a backpack, the way this has the 4 points on it, that allows me to go put a pretty good weight on the back, and this chest piece will hold it. So yeah, I want to do a wingsuit. I want to do a tank style suit. Probably other stuff over the years.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was a cool line, and I used it with my Star Wars guys. Mikey and I both have talked this week about the fact that when Kenner pitched Star Wars figures, a lot of the figures were cut up Adventure People figures. So that is so that's
Yeah, I only have one. I just have the robot that goes with the spaceman, the one with the claw hands.
Oh, okay.
That's the only one I have.
Yeah, they made several robots. They had a space team with a scientist leader and lots of.
They're damn cool.
I definitely will, Dave. I will. Obviously, when I get going on it and start having pieces, we'll show it on this, and then it will be a lot quicker to be available than this suit has been. I guarantee that. But all the time that I spent building this suit, it was all to plan out what was going to be, what I wanted to happen in the future. So that is all part of it.
Yeah,
What are you working on, Mike?
people that don't know you so much don't realize the amount of forethought that goes into designing. Um, if he decides he wants to make something, he has this thing that I've kind of picked up too, where you try to figure out how many ways could I use it so that it's the best use of your time, because you can go back to it and now I can be used for this if you do it this way or do it that way. So he just, when he's designed this whole kit, it became like a whole line in his head, and that takes a little more time because now you're designing things for 2, 3, 4, 5 purposes down the road. But it prevents you from being pigeonholed at any time where you're like, now I have to redesign it because you weren't thinking for future use. You were just thinking like, oh yeah, just for this. So that kind of goes into the time it took to design this. But moving forward, now it's just adding pieces to the base. Like it's all clip-in points and mounting spots and where clearance is. It's been thought of. I gotta say we thought of everything because we still forget stuff. We still overlook things, but it's pretty
Yeah,
well thought out.
yeah. They're one of the next figures. We've talked about it a few times, so it's not any secret. But we're building a recon, like Space Marine kind of colonial marine kind of thing, using a Dusty body. That's going to be the next full figure kit, but it will still have the attachment points that this kit has on the back. So there will still be a way to there will still be a way to any part that we make can always go with the other stuff, you know. So I just wanted to do something that was going to be kind of a universally cool thing.
Yeah.
So that's the point of it, you know. I don't know. They that when I started doing CAD, computer aided drafting, when we switched over to that, one of the big things that, especially as it developed and as it became 3D CAD, design intent was what they called it, and that most people that design like that are thinking about a whole line of things or anything like that use design intent to make sure that when they design something that the end result does everything they want it to do. If you're just designing a pipe fitting and you're saying, okay, well, this has to go into a 3-inch pipe, but the outer diameter has to be at least this thick. That's design intent. You're saying this is how big the pipe needs to be. But then somebody comes in and says, oh, we want it to be threaded on the inside, and there has to be a key to allow you to thread it. Well, if you wait until I have completely designed that part to tell me that is going to kill the project and hurt the lead time tremendously. So design intent, you really just try to look at what all you want to use on it. Action Joe Figs, that's exactly right. 12-inch figures is such an ultimate example of that, right? Uh, using the razors and blades concept that Barbie used. So your razor is a figure, but you can buy all these different packs of blades, and you want to be sure that every different style of blade that you offer still works with the OG. So 12-inch figures are packed full of design intent from the time they're designed. So you want a figure that can be used with every type of pack you want to add to it. When you try to do a 12-inch thing, you want to make sure that, because there are, I don't think I'm exaggerating here, over 80 different types of bodies that are technically 1/6 scale. Narrow shoulder, classic Joe, all the different ones that everybody's coming. And then the knockoff guys come in and they do muscle body, and people are doing muscle bodies, which has like slightly different shoulder width. So you want to be sure that when you're making something for a 12-inch figure, that it'll fit most 12-inch bodies. So definitely 1/6 scale is the king of all that. Just because of the razor and blade concept. It's not like 3 3/4 GI Joes where you just kind of make up something and then you say, okay, does the figure fit? Well, all of them, but this one do. Okay, because you were really just designing to a scale, not to a figure. Still design intent, but your design intent starts out at the beginning of a vehicle for a O-ring figure. You just have to make sure it fits an O-ring figure. Everything else can be built around that.
Yep.
You're not worried about it fitting another piece later or another piece later. If you're going to release it as a Battle Force 2000, for instance, a set that all goes together, that's how you design. Each piece has to have a component that fits that design. So that concept, even though it was not executed as well as the designers had proposed, that's a pretty good example of design intent just on one line, one subline of a toy. But that permeates everything. Like I said, designing a pipe, designing a piece that is to cover something, but you still need it to be removable in case you want to replace that piece, like on a car. Like, I'm not going to use the vents, so I'm going to cover the vents with this vent cover, and then a year later you decide, man, that was a bad idea, and you take the vents out. Well, if you didn't design that cover to come back out, that's terrible. You're going to really be upset with yourself that you didn't think about that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And a lot of time that forethought, that thinking something all the way through, if you're the one that's pitching an idea that there's several bids on, a lot of times that's the deciding factor, because now it's not just one thing, now it can be a many things, and now that is more bang for your buck. So if you're bidding on a project from an architectural standpoint or anything like that, you're now offering more than everybody else because they're just offering the one thing. You said you needed something to do this. Okay, well, this does this. Now you look at this other guy and he's like, it does this, but if this changes, it can also do this or do that. So it's just it's a mental game. Like, put your mind into that, and it gives you an edge. Whether or not it's for anybody else's benefit, whatever. But for us, it makes it more worth our time because it's not just this; it's all of these.
This project especially, when I think about all of the time that I've put into this and how we have talked about it, this is all part of a bigger vision, and I want to be sure that you don't have to buy new gauntlets or buy new boots or buy a new chest piece because I forgot something, but this was really cool. Now that may happen as this line keeps going. There will be like maybe a really heavy artillery version of this armor, and that may have some different pieces and things like that. But everything is still, the idea is that it's still designed to do this. I want to do an armored version of the helmet that won't be in clear, to where the operator sees everything on like screens on the inside, stuff like that. So there's definitely some things I want to do to keep this going, but design intent was right there in the beginning because I knew it had to do other stuff.
And then even with the follow-ups, like we talked about, using that Dusty figure as the next thing, even that has a bit of that, because what we started with the assault trooper kit, you use part of that Dusty. So that left us Dusties, and we're like, well, if everybody else is going to do this, you're going to be left with a Dusty. What can you do with that? And so it just keeps folding into the next level and the next level. So you're not left with a bunch of useless shit. For me, it's not a bad thing to have a bunch of bodies on hand. For collectors, and I need something to do with them. Like, yeah, I can order bits and pieces from Joe Bits or Mercari, and I can kit bash, and that's fine. But what would really be cool on the shelf would be a kit designed for the body. So, yeah.
Exactly, Patrick. Yeah. So on the so the Dusty kit, which doesn't have a name yet, but that kit, Dusty is still a pegged body, so it's a lot easier to paint that body. And this kit you'll probably want to paint it. So using a pegged design.
Dusty's not a pegged body.
He's not?
No.
We're screwed. No. Oh, he's not. Okay, well, you're just gonna have to paint him like he is. Guess we'll have to design it like that.
I guess you'll be the ones figuring it out. Anyway.
9:00 Central Time. Mikey or Zakina's channel Thursday nights. Every Thursday night. Figure it out. They've had some bangers here lately on their show. Some great guests.
We've had some really good guests.
It has been really good. You had Mark Buchanan from my mind just wiped clean, sorry.
The Gridiron.
Gridiron. And then you've had Bill Murphy from that's doing the
Big Bad Workshop.
Yeah, Bill does all kinds of awesome stuff. So
that he does. It was really cool with talking to Bill and Mike, and
most recently Bill's contribution has been Monster Force, a 1/12 scale figure set that is pretty cool. And you want to talk about design intent? That Monster Force is an example of Bill's intent. Got some pretty clever ways around some roadblocks that he might have. So definitely, if you guys don't watch Figure It Out, jump on Mikey or Zakanan's channel on YouTube and watch it, especially the last two shows. The last two shows have just been, maybe the last three, right?
Three, yeah, because we had Duarte in there too. And that was a fun show too.
Duarte, also master of dioramas.
He's quite good.
Yeah.
Quite good.
So yeah, check that out if you haven't. We don't do guests on this show very often because Mikey's other platforms do that. But those shows are really great. You really get to know those guys that are behind some of the really, really brilliant new stuff that's coming out.
Yeah. Thanks, Pop.
Bill also works in other scales and works with other companies to make things in other scales. So Fresh Monkey Fiction is his baby. So definitely check that out. That's kind of our joke with the Figure It Out thing, but that was the point of naming it Figure It Out, I believe.
It was definitely part of it. Yeah.
So definitely
part of our intent.
Definitely check those out, especially if you're interested in other creators that do things that aren't just customizers, but actual people making cool stuff.
Yep. Yeah, we've had some really solid gets recently. So still waiting on a couple that we'd like to get in there, but for the time being, it's pretty good.
Pretty good. After the Dusty the Recon set, I would like to tackle something for the movie Scarlet figure. So again, just trying to find ways to use up. You see them all, see figures, Dusties, and those movie figures going for less than $6.
Yeah.
And the toy person in you is like, it's only $6, man. What am I going to do with it? Well, we're going to give you something to do with it. That's what we're trying to do. We're really trying to do that with the when we started this project, the Destro was very available.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he was $12 on Amazon when we started talking about it.
And Walmart's were clearancing them out, and barbecue figures also still pretty available, especially the Marauder version. But like I said, on those, the arms will present you with an issue to do the full design. But you can do a hybrid. I just want to give you all the options. That's why this figure comes with. When you buy it, it comes with extra battery packs. It comes with extra pouches. It comes with extra leg panels, so you can design it how you want it. This one, I put I put the holster on one side and the pouch, the thigh pouch on the other. You could also switch them, make him a lefty. You can put 2 holsters or 2 pouches. You do whatever you want. You'll have enough parts when you buy the kit. You get all the pieces to make it however you want. You can put there's small pockets and large pockets. You can put those on however you want.
Jacob wanted one side pistol and the other side battery pouches.
Dual battery packs.
So you got battery packs and the pistol.
That battery pack also plugs in here on the back. You can either put 2 pouches, up to 2 large pouches here, or one battery pack, pointing at whatever direction his battery draw hand will be. Yeah, so there are plenty of customizable options on this thing just as it is. So, but as we go forward, there will be more pieces that work with it. Probably another thigh panel design for the heavier troopers. The point of the boots is that even working in 0 gravity, it was enough to give your character a boost. But in heavy gravity planets where they might be working somewhere where the specific gravity is heavier, the boost that gives them a boost to not have to walk as far and as much on the lower armor.
I gotta say, I love this new backpack design.
Thank you.
This is freaking sweet, dude. That's nice. And
it goes so if you make
whatever you want to do.
Without the battery on it, you can flip it in the other direction. You turn it upside down. It'll fit all different ways on those 2 little wings sticking out.
And nice detail, really nice detail.
So if your character's a gunslinger with 2 pistols, you can throw his backpack back there, or throw his rifle on the backpack. Has it if he needs it.
Pretty cool. And again, because of this backpack's design, if he wanted to do like in the Colonial Marines, they have that light. You could get something that plugs on there that has a light. Maybe he's an explorer. Maybe he's not a military at all. He's got 2 lights for exploring caverns and stuff like that. This thing's got legs, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And we will explore a lot of options going forward. Because I like the idea that it might be an engineer, or it could be, like you said, an explorer that is just sent to a planet to survive or find out if it's habitable. Yeah. That person may have a big pack that has a tent in it, or has a personal protection device or something.
Sure.
So I just wanted it to be something you can do whatever you want to do with.
Yeah. And then you get a whole new backpack, and you do like a payload backpack. It's like a big thruster with arms and stuff on it, where you can, shoot off.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, the intent of the suit was that it could be 0 gravity or an actual armored suit. So there's plenty of things to do with it, plenty of ways to use it. And I am going to. Patrick, the kit is $90 shipped right now for the full 52 pieces. Let me throw that image up.
Yeah.
For anybody that hasn't seen it yet. I can find it. because the images that we showed a few weeks ago, that kit has changed a little bit. Did a few things differently just to make it easier to build. Well, I thought I had a picture of it. That's weird. I'll just show you the one that we had, and I'll tell you what changed on it. All right, here we go. So this is what you get in the kit. The main difference here is that these have been cut into 4 pieces so that you have a little more range of motion if you want to do a gunfighter where you're doing 2, akimbo.
You can't see his cursor. He's pointing to the hoses on the far right side.
Do what?
Your cursor's not on. Not. We can't see that. You're pointing to the far right side of the. There it is. Okay.
There we go. Sorry. These are cut in half again, so that you have a little more reach. As you see, you end up getting, and there is one extra one of these, so that you could load up on battery packs if you wanted to. You get 4 large pouches, 4 small pouches, 4 of these, 2 thigh pockets, 2 holsters. This is the old backpack before the other thing was mounted. Everything else, I believe, is the same. 4 batteries, so you can put one here and one in the pockets, one in the pouches. You get both versions of the O-ring / grommet head mounts, depending on what neck you're putting it on. This one really only needs this to fit. I designed all of our heads to use the exact same neck hole, and this fits really great on classified ball joints.
Yep.
So that is there's what you get in the kit. That gets you $90, gets you that full kit. You still have to finish this out, which we talked about earlier. There's several ways to do that. The plastic is very welcome to having sand on it, to polish it, all that. The material that it's printed out of, when it is sanded and polished, is glass clear. This is just one straight out of the share. This is just one. I did not do any prep work on this at all. All right, and I shot it with 1 coat of this.
Duplicolor 1K clear.
Available at O'Reilly's. It is not cheap, but it is a very good clear coat for rattle can. Probably one of the best clear coats for rattle can. Give it a few days and it dries hard as a rock. I would suggest putting 2 or 3 coats on it per the instructions. You want to shoot the inside of it, tape the outside off, shoot the inside, wait the 10 minutes, shoot the inside, wait 10 minutes, shoot the inside, and then let it set for 6 hours. Flip it over and do the outside the same way. That's the best way to do it. That'll give you 3 good coats of this clear. If you do any prep work at all, get you, like I talked about earlier, get you a sanding sponge, cut it so it's nice and round, go around the inside of it, get some of those lines and stuff off of it, do a quick sand on the outside with 1000 grit, maybe go up to 2000 if you got time and patience, do that, and then do the spray. It is going to, it will look like glass. It's really good. And that's probably the most work you're going to have to put in here. The kit is very specifically designed to go on a classified destro body. That is the best. The way the shoulder piece is designed is it fits in inside of where the collar is on that body, on that torso. So it is very much designed for that. The gauntlets are designed to slide over the destro gauntlets. Legs are specifically designed to go over the destro legs, and the feet are designed for the destro feet. Probably use any body you wanted, just make a few modifications to it to make it all work. But the intent was to use up destro bodies.
Yeah.
And it does look pretty good, I think, with that destro body.
It does. And if you use the black one and do what we're doing, then you leave the suit black and you don't got to do any painting on the body. It's nice.
Here we go. Here it is with everything.
Yeah, nice.
This is exactly what you get right now when you order a kit.
Is that the red clay?
That one is a red clay one, yes.
Super brown looking. That's weird.
Yeah. Now, the ones that I am sending out pretty much from here on out, there's maybe one that is a version of this color, but most of them will be the smoky white I showed earlier, which is about the color of a snake armor.
Is this the smoky white?
That's what the smoky white looks like, yes.
Yeah, nice pale gray. This is the red clay. Pretty good.
Well, here you
go. Perfect.
But this is not on the website yet. So if anybody's interested, please message me on Facebook. If you have Instagram, you can message me on there too. I can do PayPal right now. I'm doing PayPal only. And I don't know how long they're going to be $90. I'd like to sell at least 20 kits for $90, and then we'll reevaluate from there. I think it's worth $90. Mikey and I did a ton of research on what everybody else had available and how much a kit cost. I don't paint it, but I clean it extremely well, so that what you're getting is a part that is ready to be painted or coated or just sanded and ready to go. So yeah, that's what we got. Yep. And I will say again, like I say, if you want one of these kits, I have 4 of them are ready to ship right now. So right now it could be shipped out pretty quick. So I hope that answers everything about that. The head is it's our action assault head, the mustached head. It's that same head, and that I'm going to tell you guys, when we designed the action assault head, that was the intent, was that this would also be our astronaut head.
Yeah.
So it also works as a diver head. Just happens to work that way. There will be some new heads. The Recon will have a helmet that is a little different. So still you can use the bubble, but the idea
also works well in these firefighters.
Oh, yeah, it does.
And I tell you what, that fire chief, you got him without a mustache, you're fucking up. You know what I mean? He needs the mustache.
A good chief has a nice.
You got to. If you've ever watched Tacoma FD, it's something they talk about.
Even fire country.
It's a common theme, you know. So yeah. So if you got these firefighters and you need some other heads, these are These look nice on here. This one doesn't have a mustache, but yeah, it's pretty good. And it fits right on there. Shit, that's that grommet thing, because there's probably some of y'all that haven't seen that. So this is that little grommet that comes with it, right? And he just goes over and sits in between the neck and the top of the barbell, and then right off. So there's no glue, there's no sticky tack, none of that bullshit. And now you've got another head for your firefighter.
Yeah. Crayon Slayer, welcome.
Oh, what's up, sir? How are you? Good to see you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think it's a good value too. And we're going to try to maintain that value on this line because we're not going to make any plans to paint anything or put any coatings on it. We just want to send you raw kits. And we do have, like I said earlier, we do have the service available that if you want us to paint it up for you, we can do that. It's just going to cost a little more.
Yeah. Now, what if they order a kit and they just want you to clear coat the bubble? Would you do that?
Yeah, I would. I was planning on offering that service. I would be happy to do those. I just need to work out a price on that.
All right. So if you guys, that's what's holding you guys up, message John. You guys can work that out.
Absolutely. I don't mind doing it, and it will take a while because I will want the clear to completely dry before I send it to you.
Right. Right.
So I will. I guess this week I'll probably just get a couple ready and sprayed up and ready if somebody needs
one. Now I'm putting heads on this firefighter body, cavalry firefighter.
Does the machete work head on it?
Yes, it does.
Hell yeah.
Machete.
Because most of those heads came from Don Man Studios. I talk about him a lot. He does, in the last few years, his head sculpting has become top notch.
Yeah.
Top notch. Great stuff. I am part of his Patreon. Every month you get tons of parts and heads and sometimes even full bodies that you can print off, and so definitely check him out.
Yeah, he's got some good stuff.
And if you don't want to do the Patreon, he has several pages where his stuff is available, and it's really pretty affordable.
I always end up looking at it on CG Trader.
Yeah. And then you say, Dad, you have this one.
That's exactly what happens. Ooh, this is a good one. Tom Hanks looks good on there.
Oh, it does.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Can make a whole team of it.
Yeah. Lincoln Osiris looks good on there, too.
Well, it's Lincoln Osiris. Of course it would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, anyway, yeah. So if that's what you need. If that's the one thing that's holding you up is you don't want to spend $20 on the clear coat can for a helmet, hit up John. And you guys can figure it out.
All right.
All right. What else?
That is, I think that's my main main drive today.
All right.
I just want to give everybody an update on what's going on. Get some feedback from everybody that got their kits and how they are coming along with them.
Nice.
Thank you, sir.
What's up, Suka? Oh, thanks, buddy. I saw you finally got some effects for the Rattlers. Those look frickin' sweet, dude.
We were talking about Suka earlier, weren't we?
Were we?
Thought so. Something he had.
I don't know. Go to a bead store and see if they have tiny feathers.
This is what I was thinking.
Tiny feather, like little feathers for like a dream catcher or something that you'd wear on your ears. They got some weird shit there, yeah, but I bet there's something that exists.
Stuff. You do that. There's probably several ways you could make them. But yeah.
Hell, you could probably do what I did for when I made my custom Footloose and I made the leaves for the top of his helmet. And just roll out some green stuff and just kind of, make little cuts into it with a little X-Acto blade. There's probably lots of ways you could do it.
Oh, yeah.
Patch over one. Oh, man.
I don't know what you're working on, but that sounds cool as hell.
That sounds awesome. Who has Wyatt Earp? Craniac Studios has a Wyatt Earp?
Craniac has one. I think Don Man has a Wyatt Earp.
Does Don Man have Tombstone characters?
I'm gonna need to look that up. I thought he did.
Yeah, that could be
cool.
I mean,
go to the charms. You could probably find charms. I just know that if you go to a leather or bead store, they have lots of little bags of stuff that has all kinds of cool.
And Dave, you could probably get this. This is a Craniac Studios Kurt Russell. You could probably put the mustache and the eye patch right on that and be good to go. Lots of ways you could do it. By the way, Jason, if you're watching, you left your Jack Burton here. You didn't take it.
Or did he?
No, he didn't. It's right here. He definitely left it.
Ken, that's also a pretty cool idea.
I've actually seen some pretty good Kevin Bacon heads. That's definitely doable. Thanks, Suka.
It is really nice.
Sweat chicken fried toys. I don't have any chicken fried toys out here right now. They're all in my 118 stuff and they're packed up. Don't know. All right, JB, I'll check it out. Appreciate you, man.
Now, after us at noon, Tony's got some stuff going on,
right? No, he actually is going to air it Monday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's been doing the production side of it this weekend, and he'll air it Monday, from what I understand. So Monday is when you'll get your LSWA content. So if you're a member of Legend Series, you can check that out tomorrow.
You should check out Legend Series anyway.
You should. Check out Tony. Give him a like. Sub. And if you like the wrestling stuff, or you just like having a good time, I'd consider a membership, because he's got some good content, and he's got some good content outside of wrestling. His behind the scenes stuff on doing lighting and photography and all of that stuff is exceptional information, and there is a ton of it on his channel. He's got 365 videos on his channel, so he has content. If you need bang for your buck, he's a top dog. And you can check him out Wednesdays on my channel with JMK Custom Works Live, where Tony and I are the silly gooses that present us doing some work while we talk to each other about nonsense.
And right now, you are working on this Astro suit, right?
I am. Yes.
On Jacobs.
Yes, I'm working on Jacobs Astro Suit Mark V. JB, yes, he is moving a lot of his content to the LSWA YouTube channel. So he's doing a little bit of a restructure there. So check him out. Give him a sub. Yeah. So.
All right. So you have the J&K Custom Works Wednesday night.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything Monday, Tuesday?
Nothing Monday, Tuesday. And then Thursday for Figure It Out, we have John with Top Fun Retro, who is a very entertaining gentleman. I got to finally meet him at Joe Fest this year, and we hit it off talking about guns and 80s movies and various topics adjacent to. If you're not familiar with Top Fun Retro Toys, check out their website, check out their YouTube, their Instagram. John does some really awesome, super affordable 3D printed weapons and some accessories. Doesn't do a lot of soft stuff, not a lot of hats or plate carriers or chest rigs or anything like that, but a lot of weapons, very specific, and he does variations of them. John is retired military, so he has a lot of firsthand interaction with these weapons, and he pays a great deal of attention to what he does. So much so that if you see on his website or socials, he has ammo crates and weapon crates, and those ammo and weapon crates, the ammo crates are his ammo crates, so their lot numbers are his lot numbers. Like, he pays really close attention to details. Ammo crates, or the weapon crates, are awesome. I had one on display at Joe Fest and DFW. You can get them for the M16 or AK-47. And like I said, his variation on those two weapon platforms is immense. But he does the same thing with the G36, with the HK-3353. It's awesome. I'm really excited to talk to him again. So that's going to be Thursday. So last week we had Gridiron, kind of the benchmark of 3D printed weapons. And a lot of people are not keen to it because of the price. So this week we have the budget-friendly version of great 3D printed weapons. You're asking Dave. He definitely does mini 14s.
He's asking Triple D said that he ordered a perfect set of rifles. So Mendoza was asking if they're mini 14s, because that is the Ruger Mini 14 was the gun that the 18 used all the time.
Yeah. And he's got cool versions. He's got one with the folding stock down, folding stock up. Really cool stuff. So check him out. His weapons are like $8 to $5 a piece. Very, very affordable. And then if you want, you can get some that are like painted. He does some camo patterns on some weapons that looks really nice. I think they're around 10 to 12. I can't remember that for sure, but like multi-cam color. They're really nice. Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I think we're trying to go to Joe Fest this year. If we go to Joe Fest, we're going to do it kind of low key and just be there to support our other people. But for DFW, we will have the full couple of KUKs layout. We will do another project. It will not be as in depth as this one, but it'll be cool. It'll be cool. something you can put together fairly quickly and take it home and feel like you got something special. Because that's what we want to do. Just in the vein of a workshop, you really want to walk away with something that's only yours. So that is going to be probably something else that we are going to introduce at that show, but your version, of course, because it's the workshop, yours will have something that you can't get on the regular one. So whatever that may be. I don't want to plan too far ahead here, but we do have. Well, we didn't do a class at Joe Fest this year.
Nope.
Joe Fest has been around a lot longer than us, so they kind of have, a group that does all that kind of stuff. And honestly, the workshops are just dropping like inside info here, but the workshops are really just a marketing thing and a way for us to connect to the people that want to hang out with us for an hour and build something cool. So that's I don't know, that's kind of how we're going to look at it, and that's why we're going to focus on doing a really good workshop for one show as opposed to doing 2 or 3 workshops at different shows where we'd have a lot of the same people and a lot of the same stuff. We'll also be at Assembly Required in Iowa this November. It's a nice Midwest show. It's a good venue, and it is very GI Joe centric, and really kid friendly. So as as somebody that is doing product and stuff like that, we want to be sure that we are following that guideline too, so that there is, it's really cool. Anybody that's gone, it's really, they'll end up with a bunch of giveaways, door prizes for kids. Last year, I think they had Trouble Bubbles. A couple of years ago, it was All Strikers in 1/18 scale.
Yep.
Everybody kind of pitches in and tries to buy that stuff, and then they have a massive auction on the last day where you buy tickets for it, and all through the day they give away prizes, and so most of them are donated by vendors. So there's that.
Yep.
And which reminds me, speaking of vendors, we don't have all the info yet, but Cotswold Collectibles, if you are still doing 3 3/4, 4-inch stuff, Cotswold is getting a ton of Leonard stuff in.
Oh, yeah, the core stuff. Yeah.
So if you were, I believe he's even going to have the, I can't think of the name of it, but it looked kind of like a P-51 Mustang, but it has jet engines. Really rare. They were really hard to find in the U.S. They've done 2 versions of it. When I first met Greg, like officially a few years ago at Joe Fest, he had one of them, and I snagged it from him, and that was the only one he ever got. So this one that's coming out, Cotswold Collectibles, they're on Facebook. Cotswold's been around a long time. They were probably the first vendor to ever offer reproduction parts and extra accessories for 12-inch GI Joes.
Yeah.
And they were full on into 3 3/4, stuff like that. But they have an Elite Brigade, which is their brand for 12-inch customs. And so they had stuff that that GI Joe never made. Like they have there was a PBS show with Sean Bean where he was Sharp from the Napoleonic era. And they had literally had costumes, for 12-inch figures of that show, of those characters. So anything from a Highlander to I'm talking about like a Scottish Highlander, not the movie.
Not the Highlander?
Yeah. Not the Highlander. There can only be one, like Highlander troops.
Traditional, like a classic.
Australian ODF, all kinds of stuff they did back in the 80s and 90s. They reproduction boots, and they have really cool action team kits. You know,
3D printed stuff. Really cool adventure team stuff too.
Yeah. So they do some 1/12 scale stuff. Not a lot yet, but that's all right. Nobody's perfect. But definitely check out Cotswold Collectibles if you are interested in any of that Lanyard stuff. The newer things that they've been working on that aren't readily available anywhere anymore. Mm-hmm. Greg is going to get a bunch of that in. So if you go to Facebook, find Cotswold Collectibles and follow them so that you will get an update on that when those things come in, because I think it's coming pretty soon.
Absolutely.
I definitely want to shout out to Greg because he has been super helpful to us, and we are, he has allowed us to be very active with the DFW show. So that has kind of become our show that we support the most. So please, if you are interested in any of that Lanyard stuff, follow them and keep an eye out because it's coming.
Yeah.
Dave, that's fine too. That's fine too.
He'll put you to work. You better watch it, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it, Shane. Let's do something up in the upper deck lounge. Yeah, he's got some cool stuff. He showed us some of the stuff that's coming in. It's pretty. I know he's been working on that Lanyard deal for a long time.
2 or 3 years he's been trying to get that. And he ended up getting a bunch of the World Peacekeepers 1/18 scale planes and stuff, the Su-27, A-10s. He ended up getting a bunch of those. So Greg really puts the work in to try to get stuff and keep that. Herb, welcome. He's really trying to keep that alive, and I feel like I don't think this is other than Joy Toy, but I really feel like Cotswold is one of the few, just like they did with 12-inch figures. I think they're one of the few vendors out there that are actively working to make sure that to keep 1/18 scale and 1/6 scale alive.
Yeah.
So definitely check them out. If you haven't before, they have a web page. There's still some cool stuff on there. They make a lot of cool modern sets for 12-inch stuff, but Greg had asked us. I'm sure he's going to give us some extra info that we can give you guys on what's coming, and we will.
Ken's already.
Good job, Ken. Ken's on
it. Shane's already in the weeds.
Yes.
Yeah, Pat, they are. The World Peacekeeper stuff's awesome.
They are. Both lines, though. The O-ring stuff they do and the...
Hell yeah.
Yes.
You better not be driving, sir. You son of a bitch.
Dude, what are you thinking?
I told you. We watched that video, remember? You better be at a truck stop or something. Talkin came to see me this weekend, and it was really awesome.
Yeah.
To hang out with my buddy. You psycho. Good Lord. Oh, my God. I can hit warp speed.
Yeah. I could relate. I got home in pretty good time last night when I left.
I bet you did. That's the only good thing about that drive at night is nobody's on the road.
Yeah, 435 was
435 is a
completely empty until I got southbound.
Yeah, it's awesome. Once you get Grandview, it still turns to shit. But
right, oh yeah,
435 is awesome.
Because believe it or not, the Grandview Triangle, even the way they've redone it at night, is worse than day at people remembering which one of the exits they should be taking.
Which is weird. It's not that hard.
It's not.
It is not hard.
Because three
now, I get people out of town. I get that always sucks for anybody, but there's not that many people out of town.
I think the problem with the triangle coming in from the east is they put the sign way back, and then the next sign that tells you is after you were supposed to have already.
That is true. Yeah, their sign placement.
So if you're not paying attention, a half mile back, that these are the 3 lanes you need to be in. when you get to that one and it just kicks you off over back to Lee Summit, like it's like, oh crap.
Yeah,
you know?
that is.
But that's always been a problem with the triangle. That interaction right there between, when it goes back the other way or goes down to Grandview to hit 29 or 49, whatever they call it now.
Right.
Yeah, curb. That stuff was cool.
We ain't no trick assos.
No, when it's time to drive, it's time to drive.
Yeah. We are too, and I'm sure he is too, because it's literally the fruit of his labor. Like, he has been working on that for a long time, trying to get them to come to the show and have a presence with the 118 guys. And
it's with cool. Greg, like his passion for it is so intense. He works so hard to get the Hiya toy stuff, going through different, like go through here to get it here, and he still ended up. It was spotty, and he's like, "Hey, I want to order 5 of these. I want to order 5 cases of these and 5 cases of these. Oh, those aren't going to be available to you." So he missed out on Crimson Guard, I think, and the Viper. There was a couple that he missed out on because they were just like, "Yeah, we won't. We're not going to do that." Mm-hmm. But anyway, I did want to shout out to Cotswold. When as soon as Greg gives us exactly what he wants us to say, what he wants us to divulge, we will definitely do that. Greg is a partner of ours, and we support him every chance we get.
Yep. The only thing that supports Greg more than us are the Crocs that he stands in. All right, I made that up, but it's fine.
He is the true Croc master.
He is the Croc master. Oh my God, we should get him a hat.
Yeah, I think he needs a T-shirt.
At least one of the little charms that they stick on Crocs. He at least needs one of those. Croc master. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what we got coming up. That's our plan. I am still toying with the idea of trying to do Legions Con. I don't think I'm going to be able to, but I'm still considering it, trying to figure it out. That is the weekend before Assembly Required, which would suck doing another back-to-back con, especially if that means flying to and from New Jersey is not something I'm super interested in. But it would be another audience to put my stuff as well as a couple of KUK stuff in front of, and that would be advantageous, to say the least.
Hey.
That's a thought.
There you go.
We'll talk. Hold on a second there, dude. That does ease the burden a little bit. Definitely like that.
So that's what happens if you put a pair somewhere in the house. When you come back the next day, there's another pair.
They're like rabbits. Yeah,
they are. So you really got to watch that. You really got to watch it.
Don't turn your back on a Croc.
Well, Peter, that would be cool.
We'll do. Yes.
Yeah. You get there, you got to come hang out a bit.
It's an awesome show. It's not huge. It's not a massive show. There's not a ton of stuff, but usually what people bring is good stuff, and most of the people there don't want to take it home. Not fire sale necessarily, but usually after the halfway through the first day, they're no longer like eBay prices.
You're gonna find that 50% at least of the people there are people that you probably saw at Joe Fest or DFW.
Yep, that's accurate.
It's kind of the history there is kind of wild. They put that show together just to have a Midwest show for really the at the time the O-ring GI Joe guys that were kind of running things at that time, when the declassified guys were still active on the boards and stuff like that. They wanted to do a kid-centric show that was friendly to the kids to come. There's like coloring contests and all kinds of stuff like that for them. And it has evolved, and Brian's done a great job of bringing new people in and bringing new vendors in, expanding. They're at the I don't think it's called the Hy-Vee Center anymore, is it?
Yeah, it still is.
Is it? Okay. So they got this really nice convention center, and if you can get hotel rooms there, it's just the next parking lot over. There's lots of cool stuff to do in Des Moines. I know that doesn't sound like it would be, but there's lots of toy fan stuff to do. Toy fan and pop culture stuff. There's a video arcade in Des Moines that's a blast. The big group of them go out to that. You got the Zombie Burger Cafe, which makes amazing burgers. Even if you don't like meat, they make alternate burgers. But it's zombie themed. It's a lot of fun. Usually hit that up one night. There's just a lot to do in town. There's three big hobby slash secondhand toy stores that people usually will get there a day early, and a group of them will go hit a bunch of those.
Yep.
There is a, I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's slipped my mind right now, but there is a hobby slash toy store there that has tons of Warhammer stuff, Gundam kits, and then vintage toys. And it's pretty close to where we hit town on 35.
Uh-huh.
Not very far.
We've gone there. We went there once. I think that first year we went down there with Ricky.
It's a really cool store, and then that guy has started coming to AR. He sends his people over to AR with merchandise. So you will see there will be a little vintage Star Wars stuff, some random other things, but the show is very Joe centric.
And you will not find another Joe convention with better media and advertisement. Brian Sauer does a phenomenal job. He spends the entire year making signs and promo stuff, and then usually at the end of the show, it all goes to for sale. So if you last year, they had that Iron Grenadier themed the not the Destro. What was the Ravage? Isn't that the name of that the Transformer dog?
Yeah.
They had a 1/1 scale Ravage that they sold off that they had printed. It's so cool. The guys are so passionate. It's fucking contagious. Like, you can't help but be excited about AR when you're there. So check it out.
Okay. That is okay. We talked about a lot of stuff today, so definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, for sure.
So that the AR show is kind of near and dear to our hearts because it was the first show that we really started attending together regularly.
Yep.
And we went from just going to longbow stuff, and then Skeletron came about, and then we started doing our own thing. So it's a show that's close to our hearts, and very passionate about it. And like Mikey said, Brian Sauer is top notch in how he presents the show and the media that he includes. That you're welcome when you come in. There's always a massive display. Huge. I never have a vehicle big enough to take one home. One of the first ones I went to was Sky Strikers and Rattlers kind of flying against each other. They were cutouts on top of the things that stood out. It was a super cool display.
Yeah.
And that is the show that we introduced Call Sign Longbow. When Troy and I first were showing it, we had literally went into one of the guys had a suite, and we went into his suite with there was a ton of people in there just stuffed into this room to watch our presentation video. And they were all the guys that we hung out with every year and that sort of thing. So it was really cool. We got some great feedback right off the bat. Not all of those guys are still with us, but the ones that are still with us have maintained their support and been incredibly gracious on things. So that show means a lot to us. The DFW thing has just come recently with our work with Greg. But the AR show is always close to our hearts, and if anything happened that we had to cut it down to one show, that's probably the one I would say I would go to every year.
Yeah, it's an awesome show.
Yeah, that's just how I feel.
Brian, like I said, Brian's amazing, but the whole staff is, you know,
Yeah, Travis Weber.
Travis and
Yeah, so there's like I say, it's a good show, very well organized. They usually have a special dinner for attendees that we go to on Friday night. That there's usually a theme related giveaway to that, uh, and the dinners are usually incredibly good, incredibly good.
yeah. I mean, to be fair, we pretty much just go to one place most nights.
I'm just I'll be honest. Mikey will admit this too. There is a place that we eat there, and we pretty much eat there every single meal we possibly can.
Every meal. Maybe not lunch, because lunch is usually like somebody just goes and gets something quick, and we can like tag on. We're like, hey, yeah, pick me up a sandwich or whatever.
But
breakfast and dinner, pretty much always.
Yeah, breakfast for sure.
And nobody's really interested in doing it with us. Like, we'll have dinner with this person one night, and then another night we'll have somebody else will tag along. But they always want to go to like a pizza place or the arcade, and Dad are like, no, we're just gonna go to Buzzard Billy's.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's Des Moines, Iowa, but this place is like a Cajun place. So yeah. It's I don't know, and it's crazy. We just like the place, and you don't get to sit down with biscuits and gravy and a Bloody Mary very often.
Or a couple armadillo eggs and a sexy crocodile.
Yeah. So anyway, you guys come to AR. We'll definitely have a breakfast with you before the show.
We did miss this question from Andrew here. What's the likelihood that this kit is still available by next weekend?
Oh,
100%.
The Astro suit, I will pump those out as long as you guys buy them.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's all, everything's tuned in, ready to print in that smoky gray or smoky white. Yeah, even if I fill out the 4 that I have ready, I'll have another one the next day.
If they're one of the other color options, is that just something they just need to discuss with you? If they want the kind of the darker gray or
yeah, everything right now is tuned in to work with the smoky gray or the smoky white or the red clay. And I don't have any red clay resin right now. I need to catch up on some things before I can buy more resin. But I can do it in some of the different colors. I've switched to those 3 colors. There's a dark gray, there is the smoky white, and the red clay. I have switched to those colors because that is 8K resin that is very, very vicious. Its viscosity is really, really watery. That's how it prints so well. So that is why I use those colors specifically, and that's why the kits for the DFW was such a challenge because no one makes a black 8K resin. There are some 12K resins out there now. I'm gonna test with that a little bit, but right now I know these colors that I have are good, so that is what I am focusing on. And like I said, no matter if you are going to paint it, which I recommend, if you are going to paint it, the smoky white is a excellent, almost primer colored thing you can work on. But yeah, if like I say, what I did was I had the red clay, and as it was running out, I just added smoky white to it. So I have all these pieces and parts that are all different colors and crazy, crazy combinations. But I knew I was going to paint everything, so I've been saving those for paint to do painted kits, for promotions. And like I say, I've already got one that I'm working on for somebody to paint up, and so that's what I'm doing with those. But I could probably make the clay happen if that's what you want, and I can do the dark gray. I don't think the dark gray isn't quite as pretty as the white as far as the smoothness of it. But
no, it's not. That smoky gray is tops. It's
really, it's incredible, and that is why I've been pushing towards it. I learned that at DFW when I got the final version of the wheels made for the Hasbro workshop. Mm-hmm. They were like perfect. And if I dial it in right, I print 1/18 scale parts and all kinds of stuff with very little line in it. I talked last time about the size of the bed and how that stretches the 14K ability of the printer. But the bigger the part, the more you're going to see lines. That's always the case with resin printing. But well, thank you. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Kirby, appreciate you, sir.
So anyway, if anybody has any other questions or anything, let me know or let us know now. And like I said, if you do want a kit this week, hit me up, Facebook Messenger or Instagram. Can work out a deal. Happy to do that. So, well, yeah, my thing with 1/18 scale is by having the 3D printer and getting to know it so well, I now can do prototyping for Call Sign Longbow and our other partners. I can do that now and not have to have a middleman or have to ask somebody else to do the work or any of that. So I did run some 1/18 scale parts and they were quite beautiful. So this my newest head that I did for the Astro suit, just as a thing. This is the this is it. I don't know how well you can see that. That was just a rescaled 1/18 scale head sculpt from the Longbow projects, and I was just playing with it, trying to
get any clearer on that.
I
don't know if mine will get any clearer on that. That's a little better. Yeah.
And if you are, doing Longbow anything, that just to show that we are still working on Longbow stuff, that is the Paradox head. And that is a scaled up version of that. So the detail that you just saw in Mikey's picture there, that is how well sculpted the next project is.
Yeah.
We got a great sculptor. She did some sculpts for us.
Good.
So characters like Stinger from the comic, the counterintelligence officer, Double Tap, Paradox, those are all being developed. And we're doing that as we wait for factory changes on the 7 that we thought would already be shipped. But factory still tweaking them. It'd be really easy to just say, it's fine, just send it. But we spent so much time on the Red Wolves and the Ghost figures to make sure they were right. We want this to be right. We want it to be right. Yeah. We don't want you guys to wait it as long as you have and then get a product we're not happy with. That is not going to work for us.
No.
That's just not what we do. So that's just the update. But I did want to show that because I just scaled it up and it is still incredibly detailed. A really good face sculpt. So we are pushing that level of quality as hard as we can, so that when these figures that develop from the Kickstarter, we can follow up with some more stuff and have it hopefully ready a lot quicker than 4 years. So
yeah.
Yep.
Right. So that's it. That's what we got.
That is all.
So, guys, I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you watching.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Love the feedback. Love the chat.
Yes.
Really appreciate that. You guys, as I hope we showed today, we are happy to answer any questions. Share any knowledge we have. I mean, we both love building these things ourselves. but it's also cool to be able to show you guys how we do it, because it's really it's just like any other model building. You know, the more you can share and the more you learn from each other, the better your end result's going to be. You might find a trick that you didn't know of, or you may learn of something that you didn't even know you could do in this scale. So this is a great way to do it, and a great way to share knowledge, because that's what's going to keep all this continuing. And perpetually, these hobbies, it's easy to say that they're going to die out when we die out, and I don't know. I feel like especially when we have people that we're at the workshop, had their kids with them, boys and girls, that are interested in doing this stuff and working on these things. And that makes me feel like we could still reach another audience, and it doesn't go away when we go away. So I think that's very important. So
Absolutely. Well, guys, I said, appreciate you being here. Appreciate the feedback. Keep it coming. Dad and I'll keep doing what we're doing as long as you're supporting it. We're still having a good time, so hope you are too. Until next time, you have a good one. All right.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Eat my short.
Go fuck yourself. You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Flush that turd down the drain. Avenge me! Avenge me!
Thank you. Thank you.